Good morning. Today we'll be presenting on the Malay Archipelago. This presentation was created by Joseph Towers, Alexia Beck, Jinal Zhang, and Miriam Magana. Some geographic information about the archipelago is it's the largest archipelago in the world. This archipelago was created during the melting of the glaciers during the last ice age around 10,000 years ago. This archipelago sits between 92 degrees east and 136 degrees east, and sits between 10 degrees south and 9 degrees north. It consists of 25,000 islands, and the equator runs through the middle of this geographic region. There are 6 countries in the Malay Archipelago: Indonesia, the Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, East Timor, and Papua New Guinea. Jakarta on the island of Java is the capital of Indonesia. Java is the most populated island in the world, with 141 million people living there. Indonesia is the largest country in the Malay Archipelago, with a total population of 253 million people. The Philippines, and its capital city Quezon City, is the second largest country, with a total population of 106 million people. Malaysia is the third largest, with its capital city Kuching, a total population of 31 million people. Papua New Guinea, the fourth, with its capital city Port Moresby and total population of 8.6 million people. East Timor, the fifth, with its capital city Dili, with a total population of 1.2 million people. And finally, Brunei, with its capital city Bandar Seri Begawan, with its total population of 426,000 people. Volcanic activity in the Malay Archipelago plays a large part in the geological development of the physical characteristics of the region. The islands and seas surrounding the Malay Archipelago are the most active volcanically in the world. Major volcanic events happen every so often, with devastating consequences due to the proximity of high population areas with active volcanoes, such as the Java Island with 141 million people, and the country of Indonesia has 150 active volcanoes. Landscape features and characteristics are largely determined by geological processes of volcanic activity and tectonic movement in the Malay Archipelago. This creates drastic elevation changes from the 24,000 foot deep Java Trench off the coast of Java to the towering mountain peak of Puncak Jaya that is 16,000 feet tall in the Papua province of Indonesia. Due to the convergence of major tectonic plate masses, the area of the Malay Archipelago is very seismically active. The Sunda Plate moves north into the islands of Sunda and the island of Java, creating rocky volcanic outcrops and cones on the south part of the island that gradually give way to low swamps and plain areas on the northern part of the island. Water features. The Kapuas River on the island of Borneo is the longest river in Indonesia and the Malay Archipelago at 710 miles long. Due to the countries of this region being seafaring, river navigation and travel is not greatly important. Also, note this river can only support larger boats during high periods of rain. The river starts in central Borneo and drains east into the South China Sea. The Malay Archipelago is situated in between many oceans and seas: the Indian Ocean to the west-southwest, the Java Sea to the north of the Sunda Islands, the South China Sea to the north, the Philippine Sea to the east, and the Pacific Ocean to the northwest of Papua New Guinea. The Malay Archipelago's climate is equatorial climate due to the island's location right on the equator. The archipelago experiences lots of precipitation and a monsoon season that lasts during the summer and during the winter. Rainfall can be very heavy, ranging from 70 to 125 inches annually in Indonesia and 37 to 160 inches in the Philippines. Due to the temperature of the surrounding seas being warm, humidity on the island stays between 70% and 100% year-round.
Major resource bases for these countries, such as Indonesia, have petroleum, tin, natural gas, nickel, timber, bauxite, copper, fertile soils, coal, gold, and silver. Fossil fuels, including petroleum, natural gas, and coal, constitute a major source of revenue. They are produced primarily in Sumatra and Kalimantan, and from the offshore site of Java and the South China Sea. It is estimated that the Philippines is home to more than 21.5 billion metric tons of metal deposits and 19.3 billion metric tons of non-metal mineral deposits. The natural resources of the Philippines include copper, timber, nickel, petroleum, silver, gold, cobalt, and salt. East Timor has oil, gas, such as petroleum, and minerals. The metallic minerals they have include gold, manganese, and copper. Sand and stones are examples of non-metallic minerals they have. Malaysia has raw materials like rubber and tin, palm oil, petroleum, and natural gas. The country is a major producer of rubber and palm oil. It exports considerable quantities of petroleum and natural gas. It is one of the world's largest sources of commercial hardwoods. Gold, copper, silver, natural gas, timber, and oil is in Papua New Guinea. Major mineral discoveries transformed the economy of Papua New Guinea from one dependent on tropical crops to one based on minerals for most of its exports. Large deposits of gold or of gold and copper led to major developments at Panguna on Bougainville, at OK Tedi and the Star Mountains in the western mainland area, on Misma Island in the Minao Bay, at Porgera in Inca Province, or on Lithar Island. Brunei has petroleum, natural gas, and timber. Brunei's economy is almost totally dependent on the exploitation of its vast reserves of petroleum and natural gas. Although oil and gas revenues have allowed the state to give its citizens one of the highest per capita incomes in Asia, they also have made the country dependent on a single commodity that is subject to market fluctuations. The Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and East Timor has the approximate population size of the region of 385,314,838.
One of the main civilizations of the Malay Archipelago was the Suravi-Java Empire that controlled much of modern-day Indonesia from the 7th to the 12th century. They originated on the island of Sumatra and traded extensively with India and China. Their end came from the defeat of the Majapahit Empire that ruled over Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, East Timor, and southwest Philippines from the 13th to the 16th century. It was the last major Hindu empire of the region. They developed a high degree for sophistication in both commercial and artistic activities, and the empire came to an end with the spread of Islam. In the 16th century, Europeans arrived and colonized much of the Malay Archipelago. Great Britain controlled East and West Malaysia, as well as the Strait of the Malacca, as for the traffic between Bombay and Singapore, as well as controlling the South China Sea. The Netherlands controlled Indonesia, and Spain controlled the Philippines. While there are many languages spoken throughout the Malay Archipelago, the main religion is the Malay language, and is spoken in Brunei, Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. The Malay language originated from the Old Malaya, spoken by the Suravi-Java civilization, that was heavily influenced by the spiritual language of Hinduism and Buddhism. A proper greeting in the Malay language is good morning, transferred to Sulama Pagi. There are three main religions of the Malay Archipelago. In Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei, the main religion is Sunni Islam that has been there since 1200 BC, brought during the high times of the Islamic expansion. In the Philippines, the main religion is Roman Catholic, brought by the Spanish in the 16th century. In both East Timor and Papua New Guinea, the main religion is Christianity. There are two main ethnic groups of the Malay Archipelago. One is Indonesian, with a smaller portion being of Chinese descent. The Indonesian people often cook with spicy food. They follow traditional gender roles. Men go out and do work, and the women do the chores at home. The Chinese culture practice traditional Buddhism religion. While they are the minority of the population, they are more involved with trade than the Indonesian. This is by being involved with natural resources and food ingredient industries such as sugar and palm oil. There are three main political systems of the Malay Archipelago. The main political system of Malaysia and Singapore is electoral authoritarianism. Brunei has a monarch as the head of the state. Indonesia, Philippines, and East Timor have democracies. There is political instability due to the political fragmentation of the region, which is caused by the low levels of connectivity of the islands. All 6 members of the Malay Archipelago also belong to the United Nations. The most economically sound nation is Singapore, then Brunei, then Malaysia. Singapore is into electronics, services, and chemicals at a net profit of $59,590. Brunei has a large oil industry at $32,230. Malaysia, being the third most economically sound nation, at $11,200, is also into electronics and services.
Social form. Over the last 20 years, the middle class of Indonesia has grown exponentially. The middle class group consumption has gone up 12% since 2002, indicating prosperity within the country. The emerging middle class of Indonesia is now affecting how the country's social and economic interests move. There is a large gap in wealth and other important social services in Indonesia between urban and rural people. Gender equality is also not officially equal in the eyes of the law still, due to the traditional teachings and cultural practices. Tourist destinations such as Bali and Lombok have the worst social and income inequalities in the whole country.